So in the last video we got a bunch of stuff washed and we did a bit of a degrease, but I've got some more degreaser. We might just have a go at cleaning up those inner guard panels a little better. We got the thermostat housing off, but we've got to flush the block, so let's go and have a look at that. Now I'd also move all of this stuff now it's dried off. Today's Tuesday, and on Thursday I have surgery. I spoke about this in another video. Whether I've posted that or not, I can't recall. I don't think I have. Maybe we'll see if I can get that up in the next day or so. Hear that? Luckily. Good girl, love. Good girl. We go in the shed. Yeah, like I said, today is Tuesday, and on Thursday I've got knee surgery, so things are going to stall for a little while. But today let's do a couple of things, such as don't roll in stinky stuff, love. No idea what she's up to. Flush the block and whatever else. We might have a look at doing a bit of spray painting or even cleaning up that bull bar. I've been looking for bull bars and they're not easy to find in terms of getting one for a winch, so we might just have to make do with the one we've got for now, but we'll clean it up a bit. Let's get stuck in and do a couple of things. Water's flushing out okay. It was originally very green. Flushing out okay now. What we'll do is switch and go over to the top. Flush it out that way. So we put the heater on hot. That way the water that's in the heater core drains back into the block. And we can flush those at the same time. To be sure, this hose and that hose over there are the heater hoses. Now we've got new ones, but these ones look pretty good. What we can do is take this off though and flush water through it back into the block. We only need to remove one. So we're pumping water in the top, and this is against the direction of flow, because remember it flows out of the radiator and into the block, pumped up by the water pump here, and then up and then back out of here and into the radiator. So we're reversing the flow, and it's running back out here, which is the inlet side, and I can see nice clean water coming out. Let's try that heater hose. By the way, it's worth pointing out that the water that we're using is in fact water off the garage roof or shed roof. Houses like this one here are on tank water, so they have a main supply, and that's tanks which collected off the house roof and they're pumped back into the house. But here, the water that comes off the garage or shed roof comes down here and into this tank, and the water pump, it's not actually that one, it's the one that's underneath the barrow, supplies water both to here, to this tap here, which is what we're using, but also there's an underground pipe that runs all the way up to the garden area over there where we're building that shed. So we'll run water through the block, back through the heater outlet, inlet, whatever it is. It's a little dirty at first because that's probably water that's been sitting at the back of the block. It wasn't flushed out from the front. And then back up through the heater. And similarly, a little dirty, but flush and clean. As we've taken this hose off, this heater hose for flushing, we may as well take off the other and replace those, and then we know that job is done. So let's go ahead and do that. We've got those heater hoses, I showed those to you. So we've got those two hoses off. So this one, which came off here, is much longer than the replacement, but the replacement is in fact probably the correct length. So I'm not certain what that one is. Maybe just something they found that was closely resembling it. Now the only other one is that one there, which is still there. Little hose between the tap or the valve and the heater core, where it passes through the firewall. So let's replace it too, and we'll just do the lot. So all those hoses are off. None of them were easy. I like to say they were. This here that goes into the firewall, into the heater, has a dent in it, so I'm guessing someone's crushed it at some stage trying to get that hose off. I'm not certain it matters all that much, but we might see if we can round it out a little more without applying too much force. And then we might just throw the hoses back on. We might as well use these old hose clips. Interestingly, some are an 8mm and some are a 7mm. So we'll just flip them so that the two 8mm, for example, are up on the top up there, and face them so they're easy to get to. One was pointing down, and it'd be better if it was pointing to the side, because at least then you could get into it. Pointing down is very difficult because you couldn't see where to put the socket. So we've refitted the heater hose that goes from the tap back into the core, heater core. Let's just go and test the heater control, and you tell me whether that slides or not. They did. One thing to remember with this one is that it's got to go this way, there to there, but there's also a bracket here, and that's that bracket there, so that's got to go on as well, because once that's on, that bracket holds it secure. Now there's a slight bend in this top pipe here, and you can choose to either have it go down or up. I actually think that it's up. I didn't take too much notice. Reason being, of course, that it keeps it off the inlet manifold. Not that this gets hot, but it keeps it off this, and also that that heater control seems to be in a straight line when it is that way. Just a couple of things to remember with hose clips is, first of all, make sure that the hose itself is on past the raised portion there. Second, make sure you can get to the tightener, which is here, in this case right on top, so it's easy for me. And third, make sure that it's straight, not angled on the hose, because you don't want to, when you tighten it up, cut into it, if you know what I mean. If it's tightening up at an angle, and make sure it's pretty good and tight, because remember, the system's under pressure. One more to go. Now, what I have done before I put all this back together again is got a bit of sandpaper and cleaned up these here and here, and then just put a little detergent on, because it helps it to slide on. Probably doesn't make it any easier to get off, but I don't know whether there's actually a rubber grease for that, but it's just one of those facts that when the hoses get hot and they've been on there a while, they glue themselves on. So that's the hoses back on, and we may as well put on the thermostat cover. And thermostat. So this is the thermostat cover. That's the old thermostat, and you see the seal is this rubber seal which sits on the outside of the thermostat. So and it goes in this way like so. So it seals against that as it goes into the block. So let's grab the new one. We'll just give this a bit of a wipe down. So what I have done is cleaned up this surface, cleaned up the surface on the block. This is the new thermostat, and the rubber seal fits on like so. Thermostat fits on. I'll grab the bolts. Just wash our hands, and I'll talk you through what we've done, and then also what we're going to do next. But as it's looking pretty dark, and I'll show you that in a minute too. We might pack up early. So new hoses here, that little hose there, this hose going in under here, the new hose there, which is that also a bypass or heater hose, and also we've put back on the thermostat and thermostat cover housing, not forgetting that stray bolt. What I think we might do now, because if you look at the sky, you'll see she looks pretty dark, and it might rain at any time. Let's pull off this light bar off the bull bar, and then we'll give the bull bar a good pressure clean.